The voter register was not initially deployed until voters raised concerns and voters objected in some polling units, and we provided at least a one polling unit in PU 004 Wuse Ward and Zone 2 Primary School. Other essential voting materials like voting cubicles were not seen in a couple of polling units, which we highlight in our statements. Also, materials such as ink pad were also not seen in the polling units. Destination where they've been reallocated. For security agencies, Yiaga Africa calls on security agencies to ensure that their personnel conduct themselves with the highest level of professionalism. We note the level of security deployments in this election to a large extent constituted difficulties and challenges for observers who wanted to access the polling units to observe. And so we call on the security agencies to discharge their duties, especially as collation will soon commence, with some and a highest degree of impartiality, professionalism, and excellence. For political parties, we call on parties and candidates and their supporters to refrain from disrupting the process and attempts to undermine the elections. We at Yiaga Africa restate our commitment to continue to provide accurate, verifiable, and credible information on the conduct of the process, and we will continue to observe this process till its final end, and this is both the end of the collation as well as the declaration of results. In addition, like we mentioned earlier, we will be at the results collation centers across the 6 area councils, and we would also be observing INEC's results viewing portal, that's the IREF, to track the efficiency of the portal. We call on all those who are participating in this process to continue to be vigilant and watch over the process. The election has not come to an end, it's just one part that might or will or has come to an end in some cases, but we want to call on stakeholders to continue to maintain vigilance until this process is concluded. Yiaga Africa will always be driven by data. We are for all Nigerians, and we are beholden to none. Again, we thank you very much for being with us this afternoon.
Just how disappointed you are with the process, and I'm just curious.
Citizens not to be discouraged with the quality of governance, but that should. All right. Thank.
Colleagues can also. Maybe I'll begin with the assessment. You asked if it's an improvement.
The commission had, a year, maybe more.
The leader of the boys and men.
Sheldon from Africa I know.
I'm just looking at the process, the electoral process so far. Would you say it's an
difference? Laulu and
reason for redirecting voters to different polling units.
We have seen, we're going to take a lead from what we saw in the.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. Because at Yiaga,
the question is, what was the main cause of such? Because I saw a statistic.
We talked about voter apathy, and actually we did work